Can you hear me, everyone? Oh, okay, everybody. So, if you can hear my voice, can you please quickly confirm if you can hear my voice? Can you just write yes if you can hear my voice, and no if you don't? Susant, yes. Santosh, yes. Okay, so let's continue, everyone. So let's continue again with the work. Again, I see so many people are again gone. It's okay, but let's start the session. My session is being recorded. So let's get started with the session where I left again. So actually, I just created a folder here for a data access layer, and under this folder I'm going to create a class as we are discussing about the classes and objects. So let us create a class here. So I'm going to add a class, and I'm going to rename this class to the SQL connection class. I need a SQL connect. Okay, I just need to make it a connection class. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to make it a connection class. And you might have to remember this. Why am I doing this? Because I want to hard code my connection string over to this class. But before I hard code my connection string to this class, I need to call my connection string inside a app.config file. So you can see there is a file called app.config file. If you do not have a app.config file, yes. Yeah, Rosen, do you have a question? Yes, Milan. Okay, yeah. Please let me know. Please let me know. Oh, sorry. Okay, okay. Let me just present. Yeah, sorry for that one. I'll just repeat everything. Okay, so let us see again. So if you can see my screen, I think you can see my screen now. So again, let us see what we have done is I created a data access layer, and I created let me just delete this file, and I created a SQL. Let me leave it as it is for now. And you need to have a app.config file. If you have the app.config file in your project, it's fine. If you do not have it, then you have to right click on your project. You have to click on add and new item, and you can see there should be application configuration file here. You have to get this file if you do not have that app.config file here. In the case if you do not have the app.config file, you need to go to you need to right click, add new item, and then you have to click on the application configuration file. Since I already have the app.config file, I do not need to bring it here. So double click on the app.config file. So under app.config file you'll have some configurations, and this is the configuration where you maintain some level of information. So I'm just going to start with the connection string, and then add, okay, connection string, and under that I'm just going to put add name equals to db connection. So this is the connection name, this is the name of the connection, that this is the name of database connection, and then I have a connection string, and I'm going to pass my connection string over to this connection string. So let me go to my database, right click on my database, go to the property, and let me go click on the connection string, control A, control C, and let me paste it here. Perfect. So we just have a connection string inside our app.config file. Now, whenever you want to send the connection string, you can directly access to this file, or later on I'll just create one form for you where you can send this connection string from the front end as well. So we have a connection string inside the app.config file. Now we need to retrieve this app.config file inside our class. So do you understand this, everyone? What we have done here? So last we have done nothing but we have added a connection string inside our app.config file. Okay, we have done nothing but added the app.config inside a connection string file. So you need to follow this step. You need to remember this step, everyone. So once you have done this, now we need to go to the connection class. Let us say I need to go to my data access layer, and here I'll be creating a class. So I'm going to right click on here, click on add, and click a new class and name this class to the connection class. I'm going to name this connection class. So once I name this to a connection class, let me just make it 150% so this is visible to work. And I should mention either you mention it public or private. This will be accessible throughout your project. But okay, let us leave it as it is for now. If you are trying to get it from a different project, then you have to mention the public class, connection class. Since these are inside the same project, so even if you don't define this as public, this will be accessible by the other member forms. Now here I want to create a variable get, okay, public static string, can have anything, connection string, and under connection string I just want this connection string. This is a static variable. The static means in order to call this connection string, you do not have to create the object of this connection class, and this one will retain the connection string. So what I will do, I'll just go get, and this is going to return. So actually I have to mention here so before I do this, let me just show you something here. Let me erase this first. I need to have a namespace here. I need to get a namespace here called system.configuration. So in order to get a system.configuration, you need to have that in your project. So you have to go to the reference file. You have to go to reference, right click on the reference, add reference, and we have under assemblies, we have something called system.configuration. So you can see there is system.configuration. You need to choose this system.configuration, click OK. So you have to add a system.configuration in your project. So this is a one-time process, and this is a one-time work. So you have to remember this. So and if you want to retrieve anything from the app.config file, you need to call this namespace using system.configuration. Now I'm going to return this connection string from my app.config file. So that in order to do that, I'll go to system.configuration manager.connection string, and here I would pass the connection string. The name of my connection string is dbconnection.connection string. So you have to do .connection string. In this way, you just okay. There is the issue here. Let me see what is that. Okay, I'm making one mistake here, so I just do return. So this is to be returned. So this function, what this class is doing, this connection class is holding a connection string, and this connection string is returning the connection string from a DB connection, and this DB connection belongs to whom? So if you just right click and if you go to definition, so let me again not go to the definition for this. So this DB connection is coming from the app.config file which you have defined here. So in order to access this connection string, what you have to do is you have to do system.configuration manager.connection string, and inside the square bracket you need to have a double quote DB connection.connection string. So this way you will be able to access your connection string. Now I can access this connection string everywhere. Instead of remembering my connection string, I can simply do connection class.connection string. So let's see how we can do that now. So once I have set up my connection string, I hope this is very confusing for the first time, but do practice it, and once you practice this, you will come to know how is it to be done. If you do not get it, I will get back to you individually, but this is simply a one-time job. Once you do it, you do not have to repeat it again. So just practice it, everyone, because this is a very constant type of work. This I cannot change anything out here. Now once we have done with this, Then under data access class layer, I need to create another class for managing user. So let me click on add and a class, and now you will repeat the all thing that we have done in the previous session. So I'm just going to make it let's say user class, and I'm making it zoom to 150% for now. Okay, so I created a user class, and under user class I'm going to create a function. But before that I need to have a namespace here using system.data, using system.data.sql. Okay, I need to have this two namespace, because whatever the database operation that you want to do is I want to do that in this user class rather than going to the user form and then writing a code over to that portion. No, I do not want to do that. I also want to manage it by using a classes and objects. So here I need to first of all make a SQL connection. So how can I do that? So initially what you used to do is you used to do something like this. You just simply get the connection string inside this quoted string. But now we will not do that, because we have already quoted that inside a connection class, and under connection class we have a connection string. This is how you will be able to access the connection string now. And whenever you need to access the connection string, this is the way that you will do. This is the way we will be accessing the connection string. So am I clear to you, everyone? So I hope there is a confusion, but let me see if you have a confusion here. So do you get it, everyone? Related to the user class? Yeah, Vishal, it's not easy to understand, and you are also late. But you have to try it once. You have to reference to my video and you have to try it on your once, because this is simply a one-time job. Okay, let me repeat it again, everyone. Let me repeat it again. So let me repeat the process that we have done. So first of all, what we did is we went to the app.config file. We went to app.config file, and under app.config file we just created a XML. We corrected a what you call XML file. We just created a XML element called connection string, and under connection string we just added another XML document called add name equals to db connection. So this is the name that we can provide. This is then any name that you can provide, and we put the connection string inside this connection string attribute. So connection string is whatever we have been doing earlier. So this is the connection string that we have been doing earlier. So that will be pasted here now. And later on, if a computer name changes, we'll go and change it over here. Later on, if a database name, we'll go and change it over here. Later on, if you want to apply some username and the password, we'll apply it over here. So once that is done, so we want to access this connection string through our classes and objects. So what we did is we created a data access class, and under data access class we created a connection class, and under connection class we created a variable public static string connection string. We created a connection string variable of type static, and this connection string is going to return db connection. So where is this db connection located? This db connection is located in the app.config file, and in order to access the db connection from the app.config file, what we have to do is we have to call a namespace called system.configuration. So since in order to use the system.configuration, you need to call the namespace first. So in order to get the namespace, what you did is you go to reference file, add reference, and you added under this assemblies you just went to system.configuration. We went to system.configuration, and we just pick this system.configuration. Once you have done that, then we just did, I just want this connection string to read the connection from app.config, so that's why I'm doing get and return system.configuration manager.connection string. And beside connection string, I will be able to manage anything. For example, sometimes you may have to manage some security informations. So let us say I just want the connection string for now, so I'm just doing dot connection string db connection and dot connection string. So once this is done, we have we have just generalized the connection string inside a connection class, and I can use it for any number of time. So that now again, in order to manage the user, now I have a user class. If I have a teacher, then I'll create a teacher class. We'll have a unit, then I'll create a unit class. If I have to manage assignment, then I'll create assignment class. Now for everything, I'll create a corresponding class. For now, I just want to manage the user. That's why I created a user class. But in order to make an insert, update, or delete operation of the user class, I have to call the connections. I have to make a connection. So In order to make a SQL connection, what I can do SQL connection con equals to new SQL connection. And where is this connection coming from? The connection is coming from this connection class, and this connection class called the connection string, and connection string contains the actual connection string. So this is how you'll be able to access the connection string, everyone. So if you have 100 forms, then you do not have to go to 100 form. You simply have to go to app.config. You just need to make a changes here, and we are done. So alright everyone, so this is what we have done till now. Now let us try and create a function for user class, managing the users. I'll be calling the manage users. I'll be calling the manage users start procedure through my functions now. So let me go and create a function public bool manage users integer user ID. So in order to make it short, let me just get that to the new line so that it become more visible to everyone. So let me say this is a boolean function. Now I think I have not taught you one thing over here, which is called a try catch username. So that has to be. I have not taught you a try catch. So the try catch basically it's very easy. You just need to do try and double tap, and your code will be generated. Then you have try catch exception ex. So let me pass an ex and throw ex. And I also need to close my connection once the things are done. So I'll just go finally and connect dot close. So this is important, everyone. So try catch is important. So for using a try catch, what this try catch will do, try will execute the code and throw will catch the catch will catch the error, and this will throw the error. But before that, let me just create a variable bool result equals to false, and let me return this function value here, return result. Okay. So your error will be gone now. Now I need to execute my stored procedure. So I can SQL command cmd equals to new SQL command, and I need to pass the SQL process stored procedure name here, that is manage users comma con. Okay, so we have just call the stored procedure here. Actually, I'm just missing a d, and now let us say cmd dot command type equals to command type dot stored procedure. Pass all the parameters. At the rate user ID. You have to provide absolutely in the same sequence as you have defined here. So we have already done this in our previous sessions, but we are just doing that in terms of class now. That is only the difference. Sorry. So let me just do it. And now finally we also need a mode. So actually I have not defined gen mode, so let me define mode here. Let me pass this mode here. So we are done with the parameters. Now let me execute this query. Let me say integer result equals to cmd.execute non-query, and now if okay, open the connection. So that's what we have been doing, and sorry, this has to be inside this one, and this has to be inside this connection open, and once that's done we'll close the connection, and once the connection is closed we can check if res is greater than 0 or not. That means number of row affected greater or not. If it is so, then we will just say result equals to true. That means we are just setting value is set, else result equals to false. So what we have done here is, if a number of factor greater than 0 is, then we return we just set the value of result to true. Otherwise we set the value of result to false, and we have returned this result. That means whatever is the parameter, that function will either return true or false. If this function returns true, that means value is set. If this function returns false, that means value is not set. So now we have already created a function class, and the function called manage users. Now let us go to the user form, and let's call this function. Let's go to this create button. Now here let me create the object of this class, which is user class. But user class is under the folder called a data access layer. So I just need to have a data access layer dot user class uc equals to new data access layer dot user class. Sorry. Okay. So this is how you'll be able to create the object of this class called user class, and I want to create it here. So just write try catch exception ex, and instead of throw here, just try to pass a message. Just try to pass a message. Just do not do throw. If you do throw, then your program will enter inside the code view. Message box.so ex.message. And here we can call the function now. So I just can call bool rs equals to uc.manage users and pass all the parameters. User ID is 0, username is txt username.text, password is txt password.text, role is cmb role.text, and the mode is 1 for making insert operation. Now if this value is true, that means if rs double equals to true, that means you have been able to set the user. You can display the message user successfully created. And otherwise you will just play the error message, else you can just say there is some error. Error in performing the required operation. That's it, we're done with the work. And let me see what is the error here. There is an error. Integer string sum has some invalid arguments. Okay, let's see what is it. So first is a ID, that's okay. The second is a username, that's okay. Third is a password, that is also okay. And that's a role, that's also okay. Okay, so I'm making a mistake here, everyone. I made a small mistake here. I'm passing this as an integer value, so let me correct it. So instead of this as a string, I need to make it with a integer. Sorry, let's make this mode as an integer, otherwise this was treated as a string, and one who is not accepted as a string value. So let me go to the user form again. I think error is gone. So let's execute this code and let us see whether we are able to create a user or not. Okay, so let's provide the username. Let's go to the users and let us create test user. And that's created, but you won't be able to see it here because you have not written a logic to see that through the grid view. So let's fix that issue. The user is created. In order to check that, you can confirm by going to the server explorer, and you can right click on the tables and you can see whether user exists or not. So let's right click and just click on show table data, and you can see test user bit admin has been created. So now let's go and proceed for getting all the users from the table. So let's go to the user class. Let's create another function, and this function is going to return a data table because I want to store the value inside the data table. So I just can do public data table get users. Okay, so I just can just again write try catch, do not force try catch exception ex throw ex. I will teach you how you can beautifully manage this error again. connection.get. Okay. So let's go to the data table here. Let us create an instance of a data table. We need a data table. New data table. Let's return this dt outside this finally, because finally we'll be returning this data table. So let's create a SQL command, cmd equals to new SQL command, as we have done in your previous sessions, but we are doing inside the class. That is only the difference. Select the star from user table, command on. Okay, that's done. Open, and then what you can do is you can just do SQL data reader dr equals to cmd.execute reader, and you need to do dt.load dr. You need to load the list of users inside this dt, and let's close the connection, and we are done with reading all the user list from the database. So once this is done, we need to execute in our form, user form. So let us go to view code mode, and let's go to the form load event here. Let's go, and let's say dgv user details data source will be equal to uc.get users list. Sorry, uc.get users. Once you do that, you'll get all the users listed onto the grid view. So let me copy this code and let me get that onto the button click event. So let's paste it here. Let's run and check. Let's go to user list, and you can see all the users are listed here. Let's just test user 1. Test user 1. That's great, and that's created here. So now let us go for update and delete operation. Update and deletes are very simple now once you do the one thing. So for update, I think I just missed here one thing. So under this row click, I just need to populate the value onto the data grid view. So let me create a variable called integer user ID. Sure. For now, so let us create the user ID. This is what we have done in our previous session. Row 0 dot cells user ID dot value dot string. So for user ID, and let's say username, so txt username dot text should be equal to, let me copy this and let me just paste, make few changes here. This one, let me paste it here. Let me make it username. In fact, let me copy this now. Let me go to below of this txt password.text equals to, let me paste it here, and let us password. Confirm password is also the same. And cmd role should be now equal to, again, this one. That has to be role. So we are done with the clicks of the buttons, click of the data grid view. So let's run and check whether this works or not, and then we'll go for update and delete operation, and that will be the end of today's session, everyone. So let's go to user section. Let's try anyone, and we got it now. Let me make it the password to password. Let me change the password to password. So actually I have not written a logical update, so nothing is going to happen. Let's write a logic for update operation. So it's very simple for update. So for update, let me copy this code for insert operation. For insert, I am just copying this code, and only one thing will change, will be the username and the ID. That's it. So let us click on this update button, and let's paste that code here. So 1 means 0 means you need to provide a user ID, which user you want to update, and you want to make update operation. That's why there will be 2. Similarly, and you can just make user successfully updated, and finally you can even copy this and go for a delete operation. So let me copy this one, and let me, okay, I have a delete operation here. So let me go here, paste it here, and what you need to do is only to change this mode to 3, and we are able to make a delete operation. So let's say delete it. and we are done with insert, update and delete operations. So see, code becomes very managed. Okay, there is no username. Login. Let's go to user. Let us select anyone. Let's make it password at the rate 123. Password. Let's update. It's updated. And let us try to delete this. It's deleted. Absolutely fine, everyone. So we are able to make an insert, update and delete operation, but you can see still the fields are appearing onto this form. And so we are almost done with the insert, update and delete operation by using a class, and this is the standard way that we'll be following through our whole project session, everyone. So before we proceed to the next session, also you try this work, everyone. We have to try. You must have to try. If you encounter any issue, then you can ping me anytime. Anytime means, but I will give you a time that through which I can connect you in a particular hour, and then you can try them all. So we'll stop here for today, everyone, and I'll upload a video in the link, and then I'll send you the video link, and then for tomorrow what we will do is we'll also try to make some validations here. For example, we do not want the, let's say, we want the password and confirm password to be the same. We do not want any field to be blank. We want this role to be selected. Okay, and under delete button click, we want to make a confirmation that are you sure you want to delete. So such things we will do tomorrow again, but make sure that you also try it out in your home. If you encounter any problem, you can let me know anytime. And at the last, if you have any question regarding this, please let me know. If you have a questions, anyone in this class. So Milan, you have a message from the beginning. So just after this class, you can just give me your ID, NetEx ID, and I'll just fix it. So if you have an issue, obviously, Milan, you just can provide me your NetEx ID, and then I'll just send you. Will that be okay to you, Milan? Just connect me after this class. That's a few minutes of work. Anybody, do you have a question here, anyone? So if you have a question, please write it down in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll end up today's session for now. And see, this is actually the thing they have done in the industry level. In the industry also, they work with the stored procedure, they create classes, they call the classes, even some of the code are redundant. But with experience, you learn how to remove the redundancies. You just try to generalize the stuff, you write less code, you do more. And this is the concept will be repeated everywhere. This concept is repeated everywhere, so you have to work hard, everyone, in the beginning. In the beginning, it will be difficult for you, everyone. In the beginning, it's really difficult for everyone. It's not only difficult for you. Whenever I started, it was really very tough for me as well. So you have to have a patience, and you have to keep on trying. Once you get a confidence in it, even if you do for one form, for other form you can do it very easily. But it's just that you try for once at least, and then you can do it for the other many. Okay, and in the meantime, I'm always there to help you out. So do you have any question, anyone? So if you have a question, then you can raise your question. Otherwise, you can keep living, everyone.